stand by for episode number 2. Jeff Tain Watts, because groove don't lie.
So I want to ask you, was there ever a band leader that quote unquote checked you or humbled you in a way that it's like, maybe I'm missing something or something, it's like, oh.
Okay. So there's two things. One is I've told this story a few times, but I was doing my little research, like trying to get my, I was just working on an approach, to kind of like an extension of drummers in the '60s, an extension of like of Tony Williams' work or somebody like that, or Ed Blackwell, like an interactive thing that, you know, I don't know. I started coming up with all these little systems for you using polyrhythm and using counterpoint and call and response and thematics. Just so I just had a lot on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so I played with I played in a band with did you know Don Gronick?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he was
Yes,
a
I
very
did.
nice
Yes.
man.
Yes, you're a very
Yeah,
nice man. Yes.
very nice man. I learned some things about writing from him because he functioned in jazz, but then he was also like, he's like Linda Ronstadt's MD and James Taylor's MD. So he had a certain amount of pop sensibility. And so his tunes, they would be like improvising tunes, but there would be like nice ear candy and hooks and stuff in there. It's just like stuff that had a positive influence on me. But I was playing with him one time. It was me and him and Ron Carter and Randy Brecker and Joe Lovano, and we were playing. And so I was, messing. I was being pretty interactive. Like somebody would play something, and I'd go in between it, and I had this thing where I used to try to play. I still do it a little bit, but if I hear somebody play something, I try to figure out what's the opposite of what they play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a conversation or something like that. It shows that you heard what they played, but then you have your way that you feel about it. And so I was playing, and then I was playing all these rhythms, and I played with Ron, and Ron got to the break, and he said, "You know what?" He said, I love what you're doing." And he said, "Do me a favor." He said, "On my solo, do what you're doing, but use the stuff you're doing to help me do what you think I'm trying to do." You know what I mean? Like not very specific, but do everything. Don't limit yourself, but
Right.
just think about like the journey perhaps that I'm trying to take and how that can enhance the journey.
Right.
So that was a good lesson to me. So but the other thing was with McCoy. I played with McCoy. We did a certain amount of trio gigs, but then for a run, he brought that Freddie Hubbard man out there, and it was like they jumped. I felt like I was getting jumped. I felt like they I felt like they took me in the alley and just jumped, took my lunch money, just beat me up. They got me real good when in Chicago. We had a week at the like the Fairmont Hotel or someplace. It was like a nice ritzy place, but we played there for a week. And yeah, I hadn't been playing with a lot of like musicians besides my peers at that time. I played with my peers and an occasional gig with somebody like Clark Terry or somebody real cool and just swinging. But just as far as that energy, they got me and they just kind of whooped my ass for a couple days. it was like we started playing, and McCoy would play. He's taking his solo. He plays something, and I play something back, and then he plays something real deep. I said, "Oh man, I got to come with some stuff now." I play something else, and but then he would just keep going, and I kind of ran out of stuff. So he just kept going. He just had so much to say that after a while, I was just like kind of gasping for air, and I was just like, I ran out of stuff. And then Freddie, then I had to play behind Freddie, and then he's, that's crazy and rough. Just two big beastie brothers, and it was just a good lesson for me, man. They just kicked my young ass. It was pathetic for like 2 days. And then I said, okay, now I have to get some more stuff, but then I have to learn to pace myself. So when they play stuff, I let a little bit out.
Very important. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta like groove for a
Yeah.
while and
Yes. Yes.
build from the inside instead of trying to be like up there with them, like build from the inside and push it up, and then, But I was used to playing with my peers, so I ran out of stuff. It was good. It was cool enough for them. It's like I get to my real bad thing, and then the solo's usually over. But
But they just kept going.
they just kept going. I was gasping for air. I was just like, it was wild, but that was a good one.
Man, as thinking about that documentary, oh man, that would be such a beauty. Anyway,
Right. Well,
obstacles are opportunities.
I like that too. That's true.
Obstacles, they presented an obstacle, and it's like, okay, but 2 days later, you handled it. You handled your business.
I figured it out. I definitely figured it out.
You figured it out.
Hmm.
Great, 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 great. So, another question.
Okay.
I mean, music, jazz, whatever genre, it's
Hmm.
always, it's always, it's always passed down. Was there a point where you realized that you're part of that lineage? Of like, yeah, you've been doing all the things at Berkeley and stuff, and you meeting all these cats, and then all of a sudden the realization is like, the ancestors got me. I
Wow.
I am part of this great universal conversation, and that I'm in it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, this part of me that knows that and feels that, and then there's part of me that will always be aspiring to be worthy of this great music, and and the great musicians I've gotten to play with. But I always say that I say it mostly to students so that they feel connected, like to like really take the music seriously and really aspire to so much of music is decisions. You're confronted with situations and you got to make a decision on the fly and stuff like that. So
It's
so
so
you
important.
yeah.
Please, youngsters, I hope you're listening to this.
Mhm.
This is it's all truth, but what you just decisions,
Definitely.
choices.
Yeah.
Your choices have consequences.
Yeah. Yeah. Immediate consequences. So you prepare and you want to every decision doesn't have to be something that you have an answer for. You can figure it out while you're doing it, but try to have a certain amount of informed decisions, and that's why you listen and you prepare and you do your research, and I encourage musicians to have like extra stuff, like go into an area and get enough that you need, but then get a little extra because you never know when you got to go in your bag and pull out something else, you know. But
Right.
yeah, but but at the same time, just so that they feel included, I I used to say I don't even know if this even applies to me anymore, but I'd say if I meet a musician, there's always something I can learn from somebody, and even if it's kind of jacked up. Like when I lived in LA, Billy Higgins told me, he said, you know what? He said, some you're gonna get gigs where everything is ideal and everything is really happening. And sometimes you're gonna get on a gig and you're gonna play with some people, you're gonna be like, man, I don't even know if I can hook up with this dude, man. I don't this is yeah, I don't know. Maybe they need to practice or something's wrong or whatever. But his thing was the energy that he would use to critique the musician, he put it into he took it as a challenge. What can I do? What can I figure out to transcend that and lift the other musician up and make them sound better and stuff like that. Instead of looking at what they don't have that I'm looking for, look for the little might just be a couple things that they have that I can try to magnify and hook that up. But but at the end of the day, to make people feel included, I'm like, anybody that is loving music and they aspire and in the moment they're making an honest attempt, it's like I like to say that they're part of it. It's like that they're part of the flow, part of the circle. They're aspiring to create some beauty. They might not be like really as prepared as they would like to be, or as prepared as they will be next year, or whatever. But just as far as me, I mean, I feel I've always felt responsible. Um, we lost a lot of guys last year. It's kind of jacked up. We lost a lot of Al Foster and Greg Bandy and Changuito and Jack DeJohnette and Roy Haynes and you know. So with each one of these types of things, the weight on us is like deep. I mean, you accept it. I mean, it's an opportunity, but you just want information to be passed on, or at least an attitude, or at least that whatever is at the core of this whole thing. Just that love and that aspiration. You know, Another thing I like to say is that we play all the time. You try to play, you stay behind the drums, or stay engaged with music, and once in a while you get a gig where everything is completely working and you don't even have to think about it. It's like how does this happen? It's like you're not even there. It's like you can't mess up. It's just like man, what a set that was. It's like magic or something like that. It's like the spirit comes down and just guides you through everything. And that's the reason you play all the time, so that once in a while you can get one of those gigs. Just every once in a while, you know what I'm talking about. It's like,
I
man,
know.
that was it's like I wasn't even really doing nothing. And everything was just right. I couldn't do nothing wrong. And it was like, the universe gives you a little treat. It's like, you see, you hang out long enough, I'll give you some more of these, and maybe not tomorrow, but you got to be in position to receive it.
You
So
got to be in position to receive it.
yeah, there you go.
Hey, but it's all about you of how you project.
Definitely. Yeah.
And the universe, whatever you want to call it,
Whatever.
the universe responds to how you project. If you want to project some hateful stuff, okay.
Yeah.
If you want to, you're projecting about uplifting, empowering. positivity,
Mm-hmm.
impactful. You got
Yeah, you give to it, and it's like giving to yourself. You just give to it and give. It's here for everybody. If somebody asks you like how do you do this, just find a simple way to convey it to them so that they can get inside of it. We don't want to confuse anybody. You know, we just want we need numbers. We need people involved. We need like that energy. You know.
and that's why I'm doing this podcast, because yes, our heroes, sheroes, they're passing on. And there's information that needs to be passed on.
Hmm.
And it needs to be really spoken of, asked, you know, these situations, you know. I can hear my dad say, you're going to get to a point where you need to pass on the information before you pass.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm just the answer that for me, the ancestors, baby, they always stir in the pot and they're always talking to you,
Hmm.
whether or not
Hmm.
you hear them, you hear them at the time, you hear them at the time and stuff like that. So that's all
Hmm.
I'm doing. I'm just following through.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff that you realize and you want to pass on, and then there's certain stuff you don't realize it at the time, and then later on you're like, I remember my man said it was going to be like this. It's like, you know, man, the stuff we've gotten to be involved in. It's just like it's just so rich, and it's really a privilege to.
It is a privilege. It is a
It's
privilege.
very much a privilege. Yeah.
And you've made the sacrifice, just as some of our, sports heroes or, whether they were born, yes, they were born, they had a gift, but they had to make the sacrifice. Jordan, Kobe, Willie Mays, Hank
Hmm.
Aaron,
Hmm.
Jackie,
Ali.
Jackie,
Yeah.
they was all in.
Yeah.
They had to make them sacrifices.
Yep.
Roots to the fruits.
No, it was serious. It was very serious.
Very serious. So I
Yeah.
want to ask you another question about lineage and responsibility.
Okay.
And so again, yes, things have been passed down. I just want to get your take on what do you feel about young drummers that they may misunderstand about swing and time for any genre. Again,
Yeah.
again for groove don't whatever music it is,
Yeah.
it's got a thing, and it's yes, how it's swinging, how that time is.
Hmm.
So asking you from your position in this legacy of this universal conversation.
Yes.
Anything that you could say, if young drummers are misunderstanding, they're still on their journey. What might they need to understand? What might they need to think about?
Okay. Yeah. Just don't be afraid of history and stuff. And if you just want to talk about like just like swinging specifically just for a second, it's I feel like there's some jazz education and stuff going around, and without putting anybody down, sometimes you'll hear it and people like messing with swing specifically, and it's you know, it kind of makes up less of the experience of going to a jazz club, I guess. I guess whenever
Okay.
when I yeah, I guess so. When I got to New York, it would be like maybe like probably like 85% of the gig, I guess, would be like kind of swing and shuffle, and there might be a bossa nova and a ballad or something like that. And then and then now, even with my own bands, it'll be like, I'll play most of the set, and there won't be like very much that, I mean, the essence of the music will be there, but there won't be that much that represents like traditional swing. But what am I trying to say? Just that sometimes sometimes I'll hear people like students, and when it's time for them to swing, just try to play it like you like it. Don't play it like he wants me to play some swing. I got some independence. I'll show him that I can swing, and it's like something to just get out of the way. Treat any of these grooves and things like that, old school R&B, rumba, bossa nova, whatever it is, whatever hip hop is at the moment or has been. Um, I guess treat it like a dance, a swinging dance. It could be a free dance, like an avant-garde free interpretive dance. It could be an Afro dance, Afro beat dance, or whatever. And I don't think a dance should die. It should
Hmm.
up. And then there's always ways to repurpose stuff. You can take stuff from, of course, from Brazilian music or from swing or from African music, and use it for whatever. But just listen to what people are into. Like there's always been a percentage of music that is kind of like fashion.
Hmm.
It's like everybody's doing this and everybody's putting a splash cymbal on a snare drum. They've got a crasher, and everybody, got a clap track, and everybody's got whatever. It's cool. Be aware of that, but then at the same time, kind of make your own world and do, you know, you want to do this for a living, so do a certain amount of just independent research for yourself, and trace as much as you can back to the beginnings of American music and then folkloric music from around the world. So many things you can trace back to Africa. You know, find out, you know, find out about rumba. Find out about how the drums speak to each other in Africa, and the cultural significance of that, how that works together, and how that influences what somebody plays on a bass and whatever. But just listen and play and be honest. And one of the best things you can do is groove and play with another person. Just prepare yourself and listen a lot. Listen to a lot. I feel like listening is big. I don't know. It's a different time, and even it's another thing. This is kind of wild. This is kind of wild. It's kind of like the function of music can be different now. It's kind of like we used to, we would go and play gigs, and you play for people. You might be playing in a bar or something like that. And you're playing so that somebody feels like dancing. And
Yes.
then yeah, you're playing. That's kind of like one of your big goals. It's like, I want somebody to feel like they can get up and dance. And then if you're dancing to something, there was kind of like a whole energy that's different now. It's like you play so that somebody felt like dancing, and then if you're listening, you might hear something that's danceable, and then that'll inspire you to go, man, maybe this girl will dance with me on this. I'm gonna go talk to her. you know, this is kind of funky, right? You want to dance? Then you might get your game going. But now it doesn't feel like even I'll say it. I can be completely wrong, but I feel like almost like even within hip hop, which I associated with dance early on, hip like it feels like a percentage of it is more artsy now, and people are less likely to dance to it. It's like they check it out. They'll hear it, and it's almost like they're looking at a painting or something like that. They're like, oh, that's a dope beat, and they might kind of groove to it, but there's less of that. I want to find a honey and dance to this. I find,
Because
and
it's
I'm
going to bring, because when you dance, it brings joy
yeah,
as
yeah. It
opposed
bring
to, and yes, that's a great analogy. Art, art is what it is, but music was always, there was always this connection with the body and about moving.
yeah movement, and and then it's kind of tied up in a social thing, and you know, I feel maybe it's like now. It was kind of tied up with, you put on the right song at a party and it would be tied up like with courtship and things like that. It feels like now maybe less, more of the courtship takes place like online or something like that, or something. You see somebody you like and well, hit me on my Instagram, and then there's less of it in the actual club or something like that. It just feels, just the reason that you listen to music and play music, it feels a little different at times.
The interaction is technical.
It is. It happens in cyberspace. It's happening out there.
Cyberspace in the cloud.
It's in the cloud. I'm telling you, it's in the cloud. But groove. Get once again, try to make an informed decision. You might hear an ostinato for a groove, and you can think about, okay, this reminds me of P Funk, or this reminds me of Motown, or this reminds me of some Brazilian music from the '70s, or it reminds me of some Stravinsky or something like that. You just have references, so that you can build a voice. It's a reflection of your human condition. You're trying to build your personality and who you are, and really find out who you are, but at the same time you want to be able to connect with people and relate to people, you know.
And dancing and music, when with the music and when you can dance, that is a clear.
Yeah,
It's
it's
clear, man. It's not. No, that's not on the phone.
no, it tells
No,
the
no,
truth.
that's that real one-on-one.
Yeah, 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 but I don't know. I don't know. It's like, but that's just, yeah, definitely dancing and grooving, and it's just so much fun. The drums are just so much fun. You know, you can just
Yeah.
express yourself and make people feel a certain way, and it's cool. Yeah.
And I was going to ask this question, but you've kind of answered it. And
Oh wow.
I was going to ask you, now that you're older, what, your relationship with drums and what that means, but that's all about dancing. That's all about this communication. So
Hmm.
that's what I was going to ask you, but you went right there and stuff like that. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm always aspiring to that, and I'm always like, you know, just checking out my body language, and just making sure that I'm really comfortable, that I'm really like projecting my true self, um, or getting as close to it as I can this week. Whatever I can do to get closer to that. That's what's happening.
and there's a beauty being a drummer. And I would imagine for other instruments, but when you're grooving and you're dancing, you're dancing inside, we're physically dancing.
Mhm.
And then with the frequencies and grooves that we're putting out, and then you look at the people
Yeah, there you go.
and you see that reaction, that's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm doing my job. My job is to put, I'll say it like this. My job is to put asses and smiles in the aisles.
Ah, that's a good one. You got good ones. That's a good one. Yeah.
That's my
Mm-hmm.
job. And when I see people doing that, I'm doing my job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
No.
what does that lead into? Longevity. Because people hard call you because they know he's going to bring that element. I can count on Jeff Watts. He knows that code of groove.
Mm-hmm.
It's a certainty. They know it. I got this thing. I want Jeff Watts. It's the code of certainty, of code of groove.
There's some kind of feeling, feeling. True. Yeah. Yeah.
Last question.
Okay.
If if you were to if you were to start the day, what would you either be, would you focus on technique, listening, or just the life experience?
Wow. Wow. I mean, it's nice to get some technique installed, but at the same time, maybe listening is the thing. I think that well, they have that. That's kind of like what the Suzuki method is, right? It's like you listen to good examples of your instrument being played well before you really touch the instrument, and then you have something to go for. It's like you know, listening will always be big, and technique is many things. I mean, playing good time is technique. There could be an emphasis on velocity or complexity, but there's a technique to a really good half note. There's a technique to putting it in the right place. It's like with a consistent sound, as you definitely know. So
That intention.
yeah, yeah, and the intention, yeah, make it do what you intend for it to do. Yeah, you know,
Jeff, thank you so much.
man, what a pleasure, man.
Listen, man. We'll have to do some more
Anytime,
because
anytime.
you
This is
you are man. I know it may be old school to say encyclopedia, but there's so much knowledge, and your vocabulary is immense from listening and from life experiences. It's a beautiful thing.
man. Man, really, really my pleasure. And I probably told you before, the first time I saw you at the Syrian Mosque, I think, in Pittsburgh during the Music Magic tour. And I was like,
Oh
man, this
boy.
brother, yeah. I was like, where did this brother come from, man? Oh my God. It's like everything was working. That did really personal touch, had all the power, all the stuff, fusion was going on. But this was like a whole nother voice, man. And then, you had the power, but then you had this like feathery thing and the showmanship and the whole nine. It's just like it was really special to me at that point in my life. So,
Well, thank you,
yeah,
and thank you for being you. And your immense catalog of music that you've performed on. It's like incredible. Again, it should be a documentary on you.
Take
That's
it.
it's deep, man. It's deep.
Wow. Yeah, well, this was a nice little afternoon. That's cool. Stay where you at, in Jersey?
Yeah, I'm in South Orange.
Okay. All right. If I get close by, I'm gonna run up on you. I think you know what? Most of the time, I'm here in Easton, and I wasn't in town, but I think you guys played the State Theater here. I think the boss came here,
Right.
like
Yes,
maybe like a year ago, maybe or something like that.
yes, something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, but I'm gonna roll up on you. It's good. Yeah.
Anyway, and blessings to you. Thank you. Blessings to you and your family.
Oh, look at
And
this real quick.
like as Clark Terry was, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. Robbie Coltrane gave me these two times, and
Oh,
they belong to Elvin. Yeah,
ooh,
they were probably like on Ascension and like a bunch of Impulse records, but he gave these to me. I
yes.
play them once. I found a kick to match, but I play them once in a while. But that's just makes me even more responsible. So it's cool.
Well, you have always grooved responsibly.
See, this is like food for me, man. Now I can practice and work on some music. I got inspiration from my man. This is really good.
Amen.
Really healthy.
Hey, we're helping each other, brother. We're helping.
Yeah.
I'm coming up with the questions, and I just love your answers, man. So thank you, man. Blessings to you.
All right. Well, stay in touch, and best to your partner. And I'm gonna see you somewhere soon.
I'll see you somewhere soon, man. All right,
All right.
then.
All right. Take care. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff Watts, for sharing so much incredible information. Really, after listening to it, you should be writing stuff down and carry it with you. Incredible musician, incredible man.